There's this new show on Netflix. It's called Sweet Tooth. Just got done watching it. Pretty good show. Not gonna lie, for all of its flaws, it's pretty good. However, there are some flaws, and there are some things that I need to talk about. Some things I just have to get off my chest. Anyway, I'm gonna get into spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out. If you don't care, continue watching. But you've been warned. So the show is it's a post-apocalyptic show. I can never say that word. Basically, just to make things really short, because I'm not trying to be here for like 30 minutes. Of a new virus comes out. It's super deadly. It's dropping people like flies. Like this thing is no joke. Okay. Anyway, people are dying left and right. Like it's madness. Coronavirus, but way worse. At the same time, all the new babies in the world, I assume, they didn't really specify, because this show is based in the United States, so I don't know. Anyway, all the new babies that are being born in the world, all of them are coming out as half human and half animal. Now, the animal is completely randomized. Sometimes it's going to be a deer, sometimes it's going to be like an elephant, or, it's completely random. Anyway, these babies are being born at the same time, and I guess because of the virus, you know, governments collapse and like the world ends, which I didn't really buy, cause I mean, look at coronavirus, like it didn't. Yeah, people like freaked out and bought toilet papers, but that was like the worst it got. So I guess I could buy like a virus ending the world. Anyway, that's how the world ends in this world, okay? And most of the movie takes place in this post end of the world United States. There are some flashbacks, but most of it takes place after the world ends. Anyway, that's a summary of the show. Honestly, to me, that whole that I think it's very creative. That whole like the plot, the premise. That's the word I'm looking for. The premise, I love it. I love shows that involve the world ending, or zombie shows, aliens, whatever it is. I love it. So instantly, the premise of the show got me hooked. I just wanted to note that. Another thing I liked about the show was the pacing. Like it's really only 10 episodes, and they're not even an hour long. So there's always action going on, and there's never like a really dull moment. There are some moments here and there, but what show doesn't have their boring moments? So I really like the pacing on that. The acting, it's what you expect from a Netflix show. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't recognize any of the actors that were in this show. Like none of them were really famous. There was just one guy who I kind of recognized, but I didn't know his name. It's like, yeah, I saw him on a few shows, but he wasn't like that he wasn't famous enough for me to like know his name. So like the acting is okay. It's not Gus, I forgot to mention. The main character of the show is called Gus. He's a half deer, half human hybrid. And the show mainly follows him, but it also follows two other characters, a doctor and some lady who makes her home in a zoo after the world ends. But anyway, it mainly follows Gus. And in the beginning, him and his father are living in the cabin. But then, obviously his father dies and blah, blah, blah. Which I have to give them props. They killed off his father in the first episode, which I did not expect. I really didn't. And they did it, which was pretty cool. I like that too. So yeah, the acting is what it is. Gus, sometimes his acting isn't believable. It's a kid actor. What do you expect? Those are the things I liked. Most of the stuff, it's a good show. I'm not gonna critique it that hard. I don't expect it to be that good. It's overall it's a good show. Lots of action, good drama. However, one thing I did not like was the Animal Kingdom. All those episodes involving the Animal Kingdom with, I don't even know her name, but like the girl with the black hair who hates grown-ups. She gets kicked out of her own cult. I'm gonna call it a cult because that's what it is. Anyway, it's just so annoying. I swear, every end of the world show, they have to have a group of teenagers that hate grown-ups, and they're so progressive, and they just it's just annoying, and I'm tired of it. So I didn't really like anything that had to do with the Animal Kingdom. The whole plot, the whole storyline that involved them, I skipped through most of it. It's just so annoying. Like, we get it, you hate grown-ups, you want nature to just kill you and kill all the humans on the planet. Like, that's what they wanted. They like, no more humans. The hybrids need to take over. I'm like, all right, look, I have to admit, the hybrids, yeah, they are the future. But like at the same time, you're human, I'm human. If I was in that situation, I was like, hey, let's chill out on that, human extinction. I kind of want to live. Anyway, I didn't like that at all. Very annoying. Also, the show doesn't show that many hybrids. And I do have a problem with that because that's really the only thing keeping me interested in the show are the half human, half animal hybrids. Like it's like X-Men, if you know what X-Men are, those superheroes. It's just cool. I want to know more about it. I want to know how, like, cuz there's really so much mystery in this show. Like, nobody knows how these hybrids came to be. Like, no one knows. And in the show, they hint at the virus causing it, but how does it cause babies to be half human? I mean, half animal when they're born. Like, it's just so, the question is just so intriguing, and I want to know more. But for the most of the show, they only show Gus, which is a half deer hybrid, and it's not that interesting. Half deer is kind of boring, and also this other hybrid that's half pig, and that's also boring because she honestly doesn't even look that much of an animal. She still looks human for the most part. Like, her nose, it looks like a pig's nose. But honestly, I've seen some chicks in real life, or not just chicks, but I've seen people in real life who look awfully similar to how she looks. It's not that creative, it's not that interesting. I want to see some, half crocodile hybrids, half elephant, half lizard, half chameleon. Ooh, half eagle, half penguin. Like, I want to see some cool hybrids. In their credit, they do show more hybrids in the last 2 episodes. I do have to admit, but for most of the episode, it's just Gus and that one half pig girl, which I really wasn't a fan of. Also, they do talk a lot about how much hybrids are prevalent in this show. Like, for example, in one of the episodes, whenever Gus and I think his name is Shepard, when they were going to the market, Shepard was telling Gus, he said, hey, you better watch out because at this market they might have some hybrids in cages or some some heads of hybrids on walls and stuff. He was making it sound scary, and he was making it sound like we were going to actually finally get to see some hybrids, dead or alive, in cages or enslaved, like how, they say they are in the show. Anyway, they went to the market, left the market. If you've seen the show, you know what episode I'm talking about. And nothing happened. We didn't get to see any hybrids, so that was a complete letdown, I have to admit. I was expecting to see some more hybrids, different variants of hybrids, but we didn't, so that was annoying. This show also, it likes to walk the line of kids show, like family-friendly show, and dark, edgy, just, don't want to say rated R, but like a dark, violent show, like, like a real apocalypse show. Like, most apocalypse shows and movies, they're not that family friendly, and they show some pretty disturbing things. And in this show, like they say, hybrids are being hunted down, and their heads are being mounted on walls like trophies. That's what they're saying in this show. So it has the potential of being really, really dark. However, the show, it wants to be a kid show or a family-friendly show so bad, and I feel like the show has 2 parents, and one is like a dark, it needs to be edgy, and the other one is like, no, keep it for the kids. And I feel like they're just fighting over the show and tugging back and forth, and you can tell throughout the show because there are some moments, like whenever they burn, so in that community. With survivors, where the doctor is, and people alive in their own house. That's pretty dark, but at the same time, it cuts when people die. Like, I believe when the Animal Kingdom ambushed that group of bad dudes, like it didn't show enough action. Like, they were killing the bad guys, but every time it was getting too violent, they just cut away. It also showed Shepard getting shot at the end, and there was obviously blood, so that was pretty dark, and I wasn't expecting that. However, there's rarely any blood in this show, so it's just, you can just tell it doesn't know what it wants to be. I believe this show is an adaptation from a comic book I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to look into it, but I'm very interested to see, how dark that comic book is, because this show has the potential of being really dark, and really what it needs to be, which is a apocalyptic show. There's also this scene at the end where the doctor finally finds a hybrid to experiment on, and I believe the experiment consists of opening their head while they're alive. And obviously, it doesn't show it, obviously, because it's a family-friendly show. But that would be just so cool to watch. Like, I would be on the edge of my seat. Anyway, we'll see what season 2 consists of. But that's my main problem with the show, is that it doesn't know whether it wants to be for the family or like dark. There's not that much cursing in this show. Like, there's no sex scenes, rarely any blood. There is violence, but not like extreme violence, which this show has potential to be. However, I do have some questions. Like, my number one, well, I guess everyone's number one question is where do the hybrids come from, and the virus and all that. But that's a question everyone has. I want to know more about Bobby. That's really my only, where did he come from? Because Bobby is a different hybrid. He's built different. You can tell that. My theory is that Bobby was born from an animal. That's why he looks more like an animal than a human. Because all these humans, the hybrids, they have like animal parts and stuff. But for the most part, you can tell that they're mostly human. Most of them walk human. And you can just tell they're mostly human. They still have their human features. However, Bobby, this dude is basically an animal that can barely talk, and he walks upright. I think he's a groundhog or a gopher. Anyway, he's a gopher that walks like a human, and has the ability to talk of like a 3-year-old. So I'm very interested to see where he comes from, his backstory and everything. But anyway, I'm really excited for season 2. Obviously, if you're watching this right now, you've probably seen the series or the show, but go check it out. It's really cool. I am gonna look into the comic book thing, and I just wonder. I'm gonna be really sad if the comic book is also family friendly. But who knows? We'll see. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time I find something that's worth talking about. All right.